I never thought I'd see her like that. Lily, my Lily, laughing at something Jason said, her hand brushing his, her eyes shining in a way they hadn't for me in months. I froze on the sidewalk, my phone slipping from my hand. Lily? My voice caught, barely audible over the city noise. She looked up, startled. Oh, hey. Hey. I croaked, my stomach twisting. Is that him? I nodded toward Jason, who smirked at me like he already owned the world. He's just a friend, she stammered, and I wanted to scream at the ridiculousness. A friend? I laughed bitterly. You've been my girlfriend for 2 years. He's your ex. And now he's here, smiling like nothing happened. Jason leaned casually against the doorway, his perfect hair, perfect suit, perfect smirk. Relax, man. We're just catching up. Don't get your feelings hurt. I'm not relaxed. I shouted, my hands trembling. I don't get how you, my throat tightened. Lily's face went pale. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. Didn't mean? I took a step closer, but my legs felt like lead. You left me. For him. And you're telling me you didn't mean for me to find out? That's some kind of joke, right? Jason chuckled, and it was like salt in the wound. Man, it's complicated. Life moves on. Life moves on. I shouted, my chest aching. We had plans. We talked about the future. How could you just throw that away? I don't know, Lily whispered, and I hated hearing her sound so small. I thought we weren't. I don't know. I thought things were over. Over? I repeated, my voice cracking. It wasn't over. I loved you, Lily. My chest tightened so suddenly I had to grip the railing behind me. Jason stepped closer, smirking. You're overreacting, man. Seriously. She's happy now. You should be happy for her. Happy for her? I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. You don't get it. You never get it. You just waltz in with your money and your charm, and suddenly you get what I lost. Everything I had. Lily's eyes filled with tears. I didn't? You didn't what? Didn't love me enough to stay? Didn't care about what we had? Didn't think about me at all? My hands shook, my vision blurred. Jason rolled his eyes. Look, man. Don't make this worse. Just walk away. I can't, I muttered, my throat tight. I can't just walk away. Not when it hurts this much. Not when you, I swallowed hard, trying to keep the sob from breaking free. Not when you broke everything. Lily took a step forward. Please? I didn't mean. Don't. I shook my head, tears slipping down my face. Just go. Both of you. Go. I turned and ran, feeling the hot sting of tears and humiliation. Back in my apartment, I dropped onto the couch, staring at the blank ceiling. My chest ached, my mind screamed with betrayal. Every conversation, every promise, every laugh, tainted now. I rubbed my face trying to think. I couldn't let this destroy me. I couldn't sit here and let them win. Jason had everything, money, charm, confidence. But I had something stronger. Anger. Determination. The fire to rise. I whispered to myself, my voice trembling but firm. I'm not done. Not yet. This isn't the end. I sat in the dark, letting the weight of heartbreak settle around me. And for the first time I made a promise. A promise to survive. To grow. To return. And when I did, I would make them regret ever underestimating me. The knock on my apartment door startled me. I hadn't expected anyone, especially not Mark. I froze, staring at the door like if I didn't answer, it might all go away. Open up, man. You've been hiding in here for days. His voice was loud, firm, but there was concern under it. I'm fine, I muttered, trying to sound normal. Yeah, right. Fine, he said, leaning against the doorframe. You look like hell. When was the last time you ate something? I shrugged. I don't feel like it. Don't feel like it? Mark shook his head. Come on, let me in. You're not doing yourself any favors sitting here feeling sorry for yourself. I hesitated, then stepped aside. Fine. But don't lecture me. Lecture? You need a reality check more than a lecture. He tossed his bag onto the couch. Sit down. Talk to me. What the hell happened? I looked away. You know what happened. No, I don't, he snapped. You've been avoiding everyone. Don't give me that. Talk. I sank into the couch, rubbing my face. She left me, Mark. Lily. She left me for Jason. Mark flinched slightly, then sat beside me. Yeah, I know. I saw the post. But you can't stay here crying about it forever. I can't help it. I shouted. I thought we had something real. And he just walks in and takes it all from me. Mark leaned back, silent for a moment. I get it. I really do. But drowning in this isn't going to fix anything. I don't know what to do, I admitted, voice breaking. I feel betrayed, humiliated, angry. I trusted her. I loved her. And now, nothing. He put a hand on my shoulder. Then use it. That pain, that anger, their fuel. You can either let it destroy you or you can let it push you forward. I don't even know where to start, I muttered. Start small, he said. Go back to work. Focus on something you can control. You're smart, capable. Don't waste it feeling sorry for yourself. I tried, I said quietly. But every time I sit at my desk, I see her face. I hear her laugh. I remember everything. It's like poison. I know, he said softly. I've seen you. But hiding won't make it go away. You have to face it. And then you have to move. I swallowed, nodding. Maybe you're right. You're right, he said firmly. I'm not just saying it to make you feel better. You have a choice. Stay broken or rebuild. Your call. I don't even know if I can rebuild, I said, voice trembling. You can. You have to. Mark's tone softened. And I'll help. I'll be here. But you have to want it too. I sat back, staring at the ceiling, thinking of late nights spent with Lily, her hand in mine, her smile, the dreams we made. And I realized something. I had to survive. Not for her, not for Jason, but for me. Okay, I said finally. I'll try. I'll start small. Work skills, maybe I can. You can, Mark interrupted. Every step you take counts. You'll rebuild yourself, and when the time comes, you'll be stronger than before. Trust me. I hope you're right, I muttered, but deep down I felt a spark, a flicker of determination. Listen, he said, standing up. Go do one thing today. Send that email, make that call, finish that project. Show yourself that you're still in control. Start proving to yourself you're not broken. I nodded, taking a deep breath. Okay. One step at a time. Exactly, Mark said, clapping me on the shoulder. Now go. Show the world you're still standing. I watched him leave, then sank back into the couch for a moment, letting the quiet settle. The pain was still there, but for the first time in days, it didn't feel insurmountable. I had a choice, and I was going to take it. Another late night, huh? Mark's voice came through my apartment door as if he had psychic powers. I looked up from my laptop, blinking against the glare of the screen. Yeah, can't stop now. You've been saying that for weeks. He leaned against the frame, arms crossed. Are you sure this is healthy? I smirked. Healthy? No. Necessary? Absolutely. Necessary for what? He asked, raising an eyebrow. For this, I said, spinning the laptop toward him. Look. I opened my browser to a social media page. There she was, Lily, smiling in a designer dress, hand in Jason's, the caption dripping with perfection. My stomach twisted. Mark whistled low. Well, look at that. Mr. Perfect and his little trophy. I clenched my fist. Trophy? She's not a trophy. But it burns. Seeing her like that, him like that. I can't just ignore it. You can't obsess over them forever, Mark warned. You know that, right? Don't let this consume you. I shook my head, leaning back. No, I don't want to consume myself. I want to surpass them. To return when they least expect it. To show them what they threw away. Mark sighed. Sounds more like revenge than self-improvement. Maybe, I admitted. But revenge doesn't have to be petty. It can be precise. You mean professional? He asked, a hint of a smile. I grinned. Exactly. I'm focusing on my career. Networking, learning, investments. Every late night, every hour I put in is a step forward. Every email I send, every deal I pitch, it's all part of the plan. Plan? Mark leaned in. You mean, this is really about them? I hesitated, then nodded. Partly. But mostly it's about me. I can't just sit and cry anymore. I need to reclaim myself, my confidence, my life. But seeing them, flourishing while I was falling, gave me fuel. It sparked something in me I didn't realize I still had. He rubbed his chin. Well, I'll admit you've changed. You're sharper, more focused. Just don't lose yourself in this. I won't, I said, though my heart raced. I feel alive again, Mark. For the first time since the betrayal, I feel powerful. And I like it. Powerful, he repeated, shaking his head. Just remember, you don't want to cross the line. I laughed softly. The line? I'm just crossing the line between broken and unstoppable. That's all. Mark smirked. Fair enough. But remember, obsession can blind you. Take a breath. Step back when you need to. Don't let revenge ruin the person you're becoming. I know, I said, leaning back in my chair. I've got a strategy. Small steps, Mark. Build myself up. Every skill I sharpen, every contact I make, every opportunity one sees, it's part of the bigger picture. And eventually, I paused, voice low, almost to myself. Eventually they'll see me again. And it won't be the same guy they walked over. Mark studied me quietly, then nodded slowly. I see it in your eyes. You're serious. Just, don't let this fire consume you completely, all right? I won't, I said firmly. I'm not going back to that broken version of me. I'm moving forward. Smarter. Stronger. And yes, maybe a little bit, ready to show them what they lost. Mark shook his head, smiling faintly. You're dangerous now, you know that? Maybe, I said, eyes glinting. But it's the kind of dangerous that wins, not destroys. I've waited too long to waste this fire. And I won't stop until I've built something they could never touch. Something better than they ever imagined. Just, don't let it twist you, he warned again, stepping toward the door. Focus on growth. Not just revenge. I know, I whispered, watching him leave. Then I closed the door, leaned back in my chair, and stared at the city skyline. The plan was forming. Slowly, methodically. And this time I wasn't just surviving. I was rising. I smiled to myself. Revenge could wait. First, I had to become unstoppable. I was scanning the crowd at the networking event, trying to ignore the chatter of confident voices, when someone tapped my shoulder. You look like you're calculating the world's next mistake, a woman said, her voice sharp but amused. I turned. Excuse me? Calculating. Judging. Planning. I can see it in your eyes, she said, smiling. I'm Sophia. Nice to meet you, I said cautiously. Something about her intensity made my chest tighten. You don't have to be polite. I can tell you're not here for small talk, she continued. So tell me, what's your angle? I hesitated. Nobody had ever confronted me like this. Most people at these events were fake, polite, and shallow. Oh, I'm looking to learn. Build myself up. Her eyes narrowed, sizing me up. Build yourself up or prove something? I stiffened. Maybe both. Good, she said, leaning closer. I like honesty. Most people hide behind their resumes. You're raw. You've been through something, haven't you? I looked away, unsure if I wanted to answer. But something in her gaze made me speak. Yes, I was betrayed. And I'm trying to turn that into something more. To rise again. Her smile widened, sharp and knowing. I've been there. Betrayal is a powerful teacher. It can crush you, or it can make you unstoppable. I swallowed. How did you survive it? She laughed softly. Survive? No, I thrived. I focused on the work, the strategy, the opportunities one could control. I learned faster than my rivals, invested smarter than my peers, and made sure no one could touch me again. That's the only revenge worth having. I want that too, I said, a spark lighting inside me. I don't just want to survive. I want to reclaim my life. Be untouchable. Good, Sophia said, tilting her head. But don't mistake ambition for discipline. Most people waste their anger on petty things. You need focus. Strategy. A plan that doesn't just make you look good, it makes you invincible. I nodded eagerly. I've been building a plan. Late nights, learning, networking. I'm taking steps. But I don't know if it's enough. She laughed, sharp and confident. Steps are good, but they need direction. You're like a raw blade. Polish it wrong, it breaks. Polished right, it can cut through anything. Then teach me, I said without hesitation. Teach me to sharpen the blade. Show me what I'm missing. She studied me for a moment, then smiled. Fine. But know this, no hand-holding. I'll push you, challenge you, criticize you. You're going to face your weaknesses. You're going to hate it. And if you survive, you'll come out stronger than anyone expected. That's how I operate. You in? I felt my pulse quicken. I'm in. Good, she said, extending her hand. Welcome to the game. And remember, this isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. I shook her hand firm. I understand. And I'll do whatever it takes. She nodded, satisfied. I like your fire. Don't lose it, but don't let it consume you. Focus it. Build it. Channel it. That's how you rise. As she walked away, I felt a surge of clarity. This was more than networking. This was a turning point. With her guidance, I wasn't just planning revenge anymore. I was planning my transformation. And when I returned to them, I would be untouchable. For the first time in months, I felt that spark. The thrill of possibility. The anger that once burned me down now fueled a fire I could control. And I knew without a doubt that nothing would ever be the same again. Another late night, huh? Mark's voice came over the phone, teasing but concerned. Feels like every night is late now, I said, running a hand over my face. But it's worth it. Worth it? He laughed. You sound like a man possessed. I am, I admitted. Every investment, every meeting, every email, it's all building me back up. Stronger. Smarter. Untouchable. You're doing well, he said. But don't let it consume you. Remember Sophia's advice. I haven't forgotten, I replied. I'm focused. I'm precise. Every move has a purpose. Mark chuckled. All right, Mr. Precise. Just don't burn out before you reach the top. I hung up and returned to my laptop, eyes scanning numbers, charts, and emails. Minor business rivals were underestimating me, thinking I was just another young ambitious guy. They didn't know the fire I carried. The phone buzzed again, an investor. Your proposal was impressive. Let's schedule a meeting next week, the voice said. Thank you, I said smoothly. I'll be ready. After I hung up, I leaned back thinking about how far I'd come. Months ago, I was sitting in my apartment, broken. Now the thrill of control pulsed through me. Every opportunity one seized was a small victory. Later that night, Mark stopped by. You're glowing, he said, smiling. Or is that just the screen light? I laughed softly. Maybe both. I feel alive again. You've changed, he said. Confidence suits you. But don't forget, there's more to life than this obsession with them. They're not the obsession anymore, I said firmly. They're a reminder. A measurement. Jason's arrogance is causing tension in his business. Rumors, you know. And Lily, her perfect life isn't perfect at all. Social media only tells part of the story. Mark whistled. Ah, so karma is doing its work, huh? Exactly, I said, eyes narrowing. Patient, slow, but inevitable. And when I step back into their world, they'll see who I've become. That's the first taste of revenge. Mark shook his head, smiling faintly. You're becoming dangerous, you know that? Maybe, I said, a faint grin forming. But it's a controlled danger. The kind that succeeds without chaos. The kind they'll never anticipate. I spent the next weeks immersed in work. Nights stretched into early mornings. Every new investment, every deal, every networking conversation was another building block. Minor rivals scoffed, thinking they were untouchable. I let them underestimate me. It made their downfall more satisfying when I passed them. At one meeting, a rival scoffed. You're ambitious, but you don't have the resources yet. I smiled calmly. Ambition paired with strategy is more dangerous than resources alone. Let's see how this plays out. He frowned, but I could tell I'd unsettled him. That small satisfaction fueled me more than I expected. Back in my apartment, I scrolled through Lily's posts again, this time without pain, just curiosity. The cracks in her life were subtle. A forced smile, an offhand comment about stress, hints of tension with Jason. I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate. I observed. Plan. Mark sat across from me, shaking his head. You've become meticulous. Ruthless in a way I respect. Just make sure it's for you, not just them. I know, I said, feeling the surge of power. Every step I take is about me now. But yes, proving them wrong is inevitable. They'll see what I've built. They'll see the man I've become. And in that moment, I felt it, the first taste of control, of revenge, of a life reclaimed. Not violent, not petty. Precise. Calculated. Perfect. I leaned back, watching the city lights blink outside my window. The fire in my chest had transformed from anger to focus. And I knew without a doubt that when the day came to face them again, they wouldn't recognize me. I would return as a new man. Powerful. Confident. Untouchable. I stepped off the train, the city skyline sharp against the sunset. Everything smelled the same, felt the same, yet nothing was the same. I was no longer the man who left broken and humiliated. I was polished, composed, confident. Every step toward the cafe was deliberate, controlled. Hey, over here. Mark's voice came through my phone speaker. Not now, I muttered, slipping it into my pocket. I want to do this alone. I pushed open the cafe door and there she was, Lily, laughing at something Jason said. Her hair caught the light, her eyes sparkled, but there was something forced in her smile, something off in the way he leaned toward her. I paused, heart hammering, but not in the way it used to. I found a corner table, sat and watched. Jason chuckled a little too loud. I can't believe you actually did that. You're insane. You're one to talk, Lily said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. You're always pushing me. I'm pushing because I know you can handle more, Jason replied. But I noticed the hesitation in his tone, the way her eyes flicked to him and then away. I leaned back, sipping my coffee, letting it all settle in. The tension was subtle, but it was there. I didn't need to approach. I didn't need to say a word. My presence alone was enough to unsettle them. Do you feel okay? Lily asked, voice soft, uncertain. I'm fine, Jason said quickly, too quickly. Just tired. Long day. Her frown betrayed the doubt she couldn't hide. You're lying, she said quietly. I'm not lying, he muttered, avoiding her gaze. I almost smiled. Perfect. Watching them flounder, even slightly, felt like the first whisper of revenge. Karma doesn't always have to be direct. Sometimes it works silently, naturally. I overheard Jason's phone buzz. He glanced at it, face tightening. Crap, he muttered. What is it? Lily asked, concern creeping into her voice. Nothing. Just work stuff. He forced a grin, but it faltered. I leaned slightly, pretending to check my laptop. I saw her notice the subtle crack in his composure. Her eyes widened imperceptibly, a flicker of unease passing over her face. Are you sure you're okay? She asked again, a hint of worry in her tone. Yeah, really, he insisted, but I caught the tension in his jaw, the slight tremor in his fingers. I chuckled softly under my breath. They had no idea. They thought I was still the man who would crumble. The man who would watch helplessly while they lived their perfect life. But I had changed. Everything I had built, every late night, every calculated move, had led to this moment. Her smile faltered. She glanced at the door, then back at Jason. I could almost hear the gears turning in her mind. Something was off. Something had shifted. I sipped my coffee again, slow, deliberate. When our eyes met, recognition flashed, brief, sharp, undeniable. I saw it in her eyes, surprise, hesitation, a hint of fear. Not for me. For what she had lost. For the life she thought she controlled. Jason's gaze flicked toward me and I saw the sudden realization. He understood too. The dynamic that once made them untouchable now felt fragile, brittle. I leaned back, satisfied. My revenge wasn't about confrontation. I didn't need to confront them. Not yet. Watching them unravel quietly, noticing the tension, seeing their confidence crack, that was enough. That was the first taste of karma in motion. I smiled inwardly, feeling the power pulse through me. I had returned not as the man who left, not as the man they underestimated. I had returned as someone untouchable, precise, and in control. And the best part? They didn't even know it yet. I took another sip, eyes locked on them, and for the first time in months I felt completely alive. Can we talk? Lily's voice stopped me as I stepped out of the cafe. I didn't turn right away. I already knew if I looked at her too long, old memories would try to crawl back in. I don't think that's a good idea, I said calmly. Please, she said quickly. Just a minute. I owe you an explanation. I faced her slowly. You owed me honesty a long time ago. Her eyes dropped. I know. I messed up. I was confused and Jason. Stop, I said, holding up a hand. I'm not here for excuses. She swallowed. You look different. I am different, I replied. Jason's voice cut in from behind her. Everything okay here? I smiled politely. Perfect. Just catching up. He laughed loud and forced. Good. Because we're doing great. He adjusted his watch, flashing it like a shield. Are you? I asked lightly. His smile stiffened. Of course. Business is booming. Life's good. That's funny, I said. I heard a few deals didn't go through. His jaw tightened. Rumors. Sure, I replied. They usually are. Lily glanced between us, tension rising. I didn't know you were back, she said softly to me. I wasn't planning on announcing it, I said. You could have reached out, she whispered. For what? I asked. Her lips parted, then closed again. I don't know. I think about you sometimes. Jason scoffed. Don't make this weird. It's already weird, I said evenly. Sophia's voice echoed in my mind from earlier that day. Don't let old emotions distract you. Stay sharp. Lily stepped closer. I made a mistake, she said, barely audible. I see that now. I felt the pull, the temptation to believe her, to rewind time. I forced myself to breathe. Seeing something now doesn't change what you did then. Jason crossed his arms. Look, man, whatever you're trying to prove. I'm not trying to prove anything, I interrupted. I already proved it to myself. He laughed again, but there was fear behind it. Yeah. And what's that? That I don't need either of you, I said simply. Silence fell between us. Lily's eyes glistened. Jason looked away first. My phone buzzed. Mark's name flashed. I answered. What's up? Just checking in, Mark said. You good? I'm great, I replied, meaning it. Remember what we talked about, he said. Focus. I am, I said, glancing at Jason. More than ever. After I hung up, Lily spoke again. You've changed so much. I barely recognize you. That's the point, I said. Jason cleared his throat. We should go. Lily hesitated. I just want you to know. I'm sorry. I nodded once. I know. As they walked away, I watched Jason lean in, whispering something sharp. Lily's shoulders slumped. The power shift was already happening. Later that night, I met with a colleague over drinks. You sure about this move? He asked. Absolutely, I said. It'll shake things up. He grinned. Bold. Jason won't like it. That's not my concern, I replied. When I got home, I replayed the day in my mind. I realized the revenge I wanted wasn't loud. It wasn't cruel. It was quiet, controlled, and unavoidable. I wasn't planting bombs. I was planting seeds. And soon they would grow. Did you hear about Jason's deal? Mark asked as I entered the office that morning. I raised an eyebrow. No. What happened? Fell through, he said, shaking his head. Publicly. Some minor misstep turned into a huge embarrassment. Everyone's talking. I smirked, leaning against the desk. Finally. Arrogance has a price. Mark frowned. Don't get too excited. He's still Jason. He'll recover if we're not careful. I'm not celebrating, I said. I'm observing. Patiently. Later, I overheard colleagues gossiping. Jason's really struggling this time, one said. His partners are questioning his judgment. And Lily, she looks stressed. Can't imagine her handling that. I kept my expression neutral, but inside I felt a flicker of satisfaction. Karma moves slow, Mark. Patient. Cruel. And it's finally starting. My phone buzzed. Lily's name flashed. Hey, she said, voice soft, tentative. I wanted to see how you're doing. I'm doing well, I replied cautiously. Busy. Focused. I made a mistake, she said quietly. I see that now. Lily, I interrupted gently, I'm not here to relive the past. Or to comfort regrets. I hope you understand that. Her silence told me she did. I just wanted to say, she whispered, that I'm sorry. I know, I said simply, letting her words hang in the air. I didn't smile. I didn't forgive. Not yet. She paused. You've changed. You're different. I had to be, I said. For myself. For the life I want. I'm not here to be anyone's memory or anyone's shadow. Jason called a few hours later. We need to talk, he said, tension leaking through his usually confident tone. I doubt it, I replied evenly. Your empire seems to have its own problems lately. What do you mean? Rumors, I said. Deals falling apart, partners questioning decisions. You're stressed and it shows. He laughed, but it was hollow. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Sure, I said lightly. Fine enough for the world to notice cracks, though. He hung up and I leaned back, watching the dominoes fall. The arrogance that once insulated him was gone. Patience, strategy, and restraint, my tools, were proving stronger than confrontation or anger. Sophia's words echoed in my mind. Revenge through self-improvement always trumps confrontation. You're becoming someone worthy of respect, not just love. I thought about that. It wasn't just about Lily. It wasn't even about Jason. It was about me. Every hour I poured into work, every deal I perfected, every relationship I navigated, it wasn't just climbing a ladder. It was building a foundation that no betrayal could shake. Mark stopped by later that evening. You look different, he said, scanning me with that familiar smirk. I am different, I replied. I'm learning to enjoy the power of patience. Watching karma do its work is satisfying. Careful, he warned. Satisfaction can turn into arrogance if you're not paying attention. I know, I said, smiling faintly. But this is different. This is observation, strategy, evolution. I'm not just healing. I'm becoming someone they can't ignore, someone they can't manipulate or underestimate. Mark nodded. Good. That's the real victory. Not the small revenge, but the growth. Exactly, I said. And the best part? They don't even see it coming. The night fell and I sat by the window watching the city lights blink like tiny signals. I wasn't consumed by anger anymore. I wasn't crying in an empty apartment. I was learning, building, evolving. Karma moved on its own schedule, and I would reap the benefits when the timing was perfect. Lily's regrets, Jason's crumbling confidence, it wasn't immediate satisfaction. It was subtle. It was precise. And it was beautiful in its own way. I smiled to myself. Not because they were suffering, but because I had survived, thrived, evolved, and nothing could take that from me. The game had changed and I had the upper hand. I saw the news headline first thing in the morning. Jason Enterprises faces public backlash after failed merger. I leaned back in my chair, letting the words sink in. The arrogance, the manipulations, the constant show of perfection. It all crumbled. Mark called almost immediately. "You're seeing this, right?" "I am," I said, voice calm. "Finally, the truth catching up." He chuckled. "You've been patient, man. And it's paying off." "I'm not celebrating," I replied. "I'm observing. Every consequence is natural, deserved." Later I got a text from Lily. "Can we talk? Please. I need to explain." I ignored it, staring out the window at the city lights. The fire inside me wasn't anger anymore. It was clarity. At lunch, Sophia joined me. "I heard about Jason," she said, eyes sharp but approving. "And Lily reaching out." "Yes," I said. "Both in predictable ways. Karma works quietly but efficiently." "You're different," she said. "More composed. Less reactive." "I've learned," I said. "Revenge through action and growth is stronger than confrontation. It's satisfying without poison." Mark arrived later that afternoon, grinning. "You look untouchable." "I feel untouchable," I admitted. "Every choice, every step, every investment, it's all built me. I survived what they did to me. And they didn't see a thing coming." He shook his head. "I'm proud of you, man. You rose, and not just above them, you rose above yourself." A few hours later, Lily called again. "Please, I need you," she said, desperation clear. "I know," I said. "But I'm not the person I was. And neither is your world." I made a mistake," she whispered. "I thought I loved him. I see now. I was wrong." "I understand," I said, keeping my voice steady. "But understanding doesn't change the past. I regret everything," she admitted. "And that's fair," I said. "You should feel it. Just like I felt my pain." Jason's arrogance was gone from social media. The board replaced him. Partners spoke openly about mismanagement. Every boast, every flaunt of wealth, it turned to dust. I watched from my office, a quiet smile on my face. Not gloating. Just satisfaction in the inevitability of consequence. "I hear your investments are doing well," Mark said later. "They are," I replied. "But it's not just the money. It's control, discipline, focus. I'm not chasing them anymore. I'm building myself." Sophia stopped by again. "You've transformed," she said. "This is bigger than revenge. It's growth, power, respect. People notice the difference. You're untouchable now, not because you want to hurt them, but because you've earned your place." I nodded, feeling it settle inside me. The years of heartbreak, humiliation, and late nights had forged someone new. Someone I could be proud of. That evening, Lily called one last time. "I don't expect forgiveness," she said, voice low, almost ashamed. "I just wanted you to know." "I know," I said calmly. "I'm not here to punish you. The world has its own way of balancing things. And I've found my balance. My revenge isn't in making you suffer. It's in proving that I survived, that I transformed, that I became someone untouchable." Silence followed. "Goodbye," she whispered. "Goodbye," I replied. Mark raised his glass that night. "To you," he said. "For surviving, for growing, for not letting them break you." I smiled, lifting mine. "To growth, to resilience, and to quiet victories." Sophia nodded. "The best revenge is becoming someone they can't touch. Someone they can't manipulate. You've done that." I leaned back, the city lights reflecting in the window. Their empire was in ruins. Lily's regrets hung in the air. Jason's arrogance had self-destructed. But my mind was calm. I didn't need their suffering to feel victory. I had survived, and in doing so, I had won the most important battle, over myself. I took a deep breath. I was free, untouchable, evolved. And in that quiet realization, I found a satisfaction that no confrontation, no anger, no revenge could ever surpass. I sat on the balcony, coffee in hand, the city sprawled beneath me. Months had passed since Jason and Lily faded from my life in more ways than one. Their shadows lingered only in memory, sharp but distant. I breathed slowly, savoring the quiet. Mark called earlier. "You're up there thinking again?" he asked, voice teasing. "Always," I said, smiling faintly. "Reflection keeps me grounded." "Reflection or obsession?" he asked, laughing. "Neither," I said. "I'm at peace." Finally. Sophia joined me a little later, her eyes scanning the skyline. "You've changed," she said softly. "I have," I admitted. "I'm not the man who cried outside their apartment. I'm not the man who waited for karma to act. I built my own life. My own victories." "You built it well," she said. "I'm proud of you. Not just for surviving, but for becoming someone untouchable without bitterness." I nodded, thinking of every sleepless night, every late email, every deal, every challenge I'd faced alone or with their guidance. "It wasn't easy," I said. "Every step reminded me of them, of what I lost, what I wanted, what I needed. But the focus was never them. It was me. I had to reclaim myself." Mark laughed, a deep, easy sound. "And you did. Look at you. Calm, composed, and finally free." "I'm free," I said. "And it feels different than I imagined. Not triumphant, not gloating. Just calm. Satisfaction without malice. That's the real victory." Sophia leaned back, a small smile on her lips. "It's rare. Most people think revenge means destroying someone else. But the smartest revenge is self-reclamation. You're living proof." I gazed at the skyline, thinking of Jason's arrogance crumbling, of Lily's regrets, of every obstacle they put in my path. I didn't feel joy at their pain. I felt clarity. They were lessons, not enemies. Mark nudged me. "You still think about her sometimes, don't you?" "I do," I admitted. "Her laugh, her presence, even her betrayal. But it's not longing. It's understanding. Part of the journey. Part of why I built myself this way." Sophia added, "And look where it got you. You're not broken anymore. You're respected, independent, untouchable." I smiled faintly. I didn't realize until recently, revenge doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's silent. It's mastering yourself, walking away from the pain, building a life they can't touch, can't ruin. Mark clinked his coffee cup against mine. "To silent victories," he said. "To growth," I corrected, "and to resilience." Sophia raised her cup as well. "And to living life on your own terms." I looked at them, gratitude swelling. Mark, loyal since childhood, the one who reminded me who I was when I almost lost myself. Sophia, cunning and wise, who guided me, challenged me, forced me to become stronger, smarter. They were my anchors, my mirrors, my proof that loyalty and friendship still existed beyond betrayal. I leaned back, the cool wind brushing my face. "I think about the man I used to be," I said quietly. "The one who stood frozen outside that apartment, heartbroken, mind spinning. I wouldn't recognize him now. He would envy this calm, this clarity. He would admire the control I've built. And I paused, letting the thought sink in. I finally admire myself. That's the sweetest victory of all." The city hummed below, indifferent, alive, constant. And I felt the same. Alive, independent, unshakable. No ghost could haunt me. No past betrayal could define me. I had transformed. Mark grinned. "You're finally at peace." "I am," I said, turning my gaze forward. "At peace not just with them but with myself. Every choice, every step, every scar led me here. And it's enough. It's more than enough." Sophia nodded. "You've evolved. You're someone worth remembering, not for revenge but for strength, resilience, and integrity." I lifted my cup one last time, letting the warmth seep into my hands. "To the future," I said. "To freedom. To life on my own terms." And in that moment, I realized I didn't need confrontation, anger, or vindication anymore. I had survived. I had grown. I had claimed my life. And that was enough.